Hello everyone. So this is Mithad, and this is my first video, officially my first video on this channel. So yeah. So while I was wondering what should I film, I decided to film on this topic, and I got this instant urge to film this video because I feel it's very important to address this topic, and that is why it is so important to have your own individuality, have your own identity. Even though all of us are very different at an individual level, each human being is very unique and very different. We are at some level losing our individuality in this fast paced world. So yeah, coming back to my own experience and to my own story and how I figured out what I really want, who am I, what I really want from my life. And even though I would not say I have completely figured it out, but according to my experience and according to my learning, to which extent I have figured out, and I have got this clarity now that who am I at some level, even though there is whole life to figure out who actually am I and what I actually want from life. And the learning is never gonna stop. So yeah, our experiences, our perception, the way we perceive everything changes from time to time, right? But now it's very high time for all of us to have this topic, to show concern on this topic, because on internet there is like an explosion of variety of information, of variety of ideas. And sometimes when you use a lot of internet, when you use a lot of social media, you start feeling so unworthy and you start feeling so ungrateful, comparing yourself to those who have much more than you. And all of a sudden that sense of gratefulness fade away so quickly, right? And especially if you're a student and you are into this competitive world, you are preparing for something like competitive exams like JE, NEET, or any other competitive exams. You are actually in a cage of misinformation, and you are actually trying to be someone else. So there are many students out there who have been forced to choose this path because of course there is no other path paved for us. The only option, especially if you ask me in my case, so I have also opted for a college and I am now a officially college going girl. So in my case, if you ask, I too have experienced this where you do not have any option instead of this. Especially all of these competitive exams are so hyped up at this point that even your parents are also going to say you to opt for this, because when you see all those flashy images of toppers wearing all those garlands and like that, what feels success, right? Imagine how this all thing is portrayed. Okay, you must have seen on officially NEET 2025 result is out recently, and there are many toppers out there, and there are many success stories, there are many victory stories. But do we really focus on the dark side? Are there any students whose stories, whose failure stories, or whose suicide stories are being covered publicly? So that's what is mess with the system, right? They always promote, they always show us the bright side of everything, and that's what parents see, and they see and they learn and they think that that's, even students also define their worth based on these competitive exams right now. And that's why they're losing their identity in this messed up thing. And that's what I too have experienced lately. I would say in my past schooling years, when I was in 8th, ninth, and 10th grade, even though these years are not very serious and these years are not very competitive compared to the world that I'm going to enter now, still, since I am that person who is very observant and who is very serious about my future, I would say, even though I'm not serious, I think about it a lot. And I too do not know at this point what I actually want, and what I am going to pursue after giving my like 12th exams. I still am figuring out, even though I know my interest, even though I know on which field I want to go, I have I have a map in my mind, but things do not go as planned. And I just have a idea. I just have an idea to just have a map of my own things and what I want with life, stuff like that. What am I speaking rubbish? Yes, so coming back to the point, even though I have figured out, and most of you must have known till this time your passion and what you really want, but there are many out there who do not know and who just step into this exam wala cage without having much idea, and they end up being lost. So that's what today we are going to talk about, and it took me like 5 minutes to actually explain what we are going to discuss today. So that's the thing, my friends. And so coming back to my story, so I was in my late school years, in my 8th 9th and 10th grade. I was surrounded by especially the friend circle that I had, even though I was not very socially active and I do not have a good social life. I really have like 2 3 friends. So most of them, even now and even then, they were very good in case of academics. They were very good academically, even though I was also a good student. I would not say, you know, I was a good student, but I used to think that that's how life works, and that's the best thing you could do is score good and, be confident, be bold, and I used to categorize a lot myself. I used to just think that this particular people, those who choose this particular field, who are of this kind, are only successful, are only worth praising. But that's not the case, my friends. And that's what I realized very very recent. Each one of us are unique, and it doesn't mean it doesn't mean whether we fail or we pass in a particular set criteria, but all of us have our own unique talent. All of us have our own unique passion. All of us are unique individually, and all you need is to figure out what you really want, okay, and what you actually feel like doing, what your heart says about you. So while I was in that phase of my life, I always used to compare myself. I always used to see the life and see things around me from their eyes, from their glasses. I would not say it's a wrong thing. You should of course see, and you should of course listen to others perspective. You should of course um, take advices from people. It's very common, especially if you have a good friend circle. It's a very big privilege to you to learn and to grow individually. But what I'm trying to say is that while learning and while growing, have your own perspective towards life. I would not say I did not have my own perspective, but I always used to agree on whatever people preached, okay. I always used to say that, yeah, students like these, they are of this kind, students like that, they're of this kind. I always used to categorize a lot, and in reality this categorization thing never works. In reality, each student, they have their own capabilities, they have their own potential. Even though you are not able to fulfill it, even though you are not able to utilize it at this point, you don't need to feel unworthy and bad about yourself, because the life is like full of opportunities. And I'm very damn sure that whoever at this point of life, all of you, those who, most of the viewers watching this video must be either 15, 16, or 17 years old. And when you step into this competitive world, and when you fail, I will not say when you fail, when you understand that you are not meant for this, you feel so unworthy, right? And society, especially our close ones, make us feel that we are not capable of anything, right? We don't deserve this. We are unique, and I'm repeating this many many times. We are unique, but actually it's not our fault that we fail. It's the fault of the system. Now, when I say this, it's the fault of the system, is that there are many varieties of students with varieties of qualities, with varieties of passion, with varieties of choices, with varieties of diversity. There is a lot of diversity when it comes to individual. All of us are very diverse at an individual level. All of us are shaped in very different way. If some of you might be good at academics, some of you might be good at music, some of you might be good at dancing, some of you might be good at speaking, right? So it's never like that anyone is not good at anything, right? If you feel like that, it means you have not figured out yet what your inner self really wants, or what you are good at. And if you're not good at anything, just shape yourself to be good at something. So that's what I want to like address, that right, we all are good at everything, but the system only provide us few choices, right? And if you think that you are going to opt for other platforms, you're going to opt for other choices, you are not going to get this confirmation of your good financially secured future. Or I could say, if you belong to a middle class family, if you are not from some well to do family, then the scope and the choices are very limited for you. If you're someone whose parents are not that financially good, or they do not earn that much, you cannot think of opting a fashion designing course. It's such an expensive course, right? You cannot think of opting for photography, right? So it's it's always the system, it's always the society that provides you very less exposure and very less scope till this age. And when you get things, when you understand this, you actually start valuing yourself. You understand that yes, I am at an individual level, I also have my own identity, and I don't need to idolize a certain kind of people, a certain kind of career, a certain kind of group, a certain kind of category. And that's when, my friends, you understand that you are worthy, and you too can achieve something in your life. And that's the motive of this video. That's to that's to my experience, what I have experienced and what I have realized from my life. So uh, the last thing that I would like to end this video is that the last quote, or you can say the last thing that I would like to say, is that every stone is different, right? Every I'm not getting anything. So where was I? Actually, I don't know. I went blank for a moment. Since it's my first video, please forgive me. So I was saying that every flower in the garden is not same, right? Each flower have their own fragrance, their own color. That does not make a flower less worthy or more worthy. So never define your worth based on any category, any categorization, any exam, anything. You are different, my friends, and of course you are going to do something very big. All you need is to never give up and always figure out a way, and just stay and just continue with your own life. And yes, my friends, you too can know who you are, you too can know what you want from your life, if you do not underestimate yourself, and if you continue to work, and if you to continue to grow. Thank you.